Welcome to the IonaHoops.com podcast with your host, Guy Flatico.
Hey there, it's season 4, episode 20 of the IonaHoops.com podcast. I'm coming to you from Atlantic City, but unfortunately, the Gales are going home. I don't remember the last time it's been where both the men and women didn't even make it through the quarterfinals. I'd have to go back and look, and not counting COVID year, which probably was a possibility now that I think about it. But before that, I don't know. I'd have to go back quite a ways to see when that's happened last. That both teams were, no Iona team reached the semis even. But anyway, it's over. But I will say it kind of went as I had foreseen late Saturday night in San Diego when I put up that episode. We did have a grinded out win against the Jaspers and then had a grinded out loss against the Stags in the quarters. Really super proud of the way the team played. We saw some evolution of some freshmen, in these, especially against Fairfield. I think we've been talking all along about how the older kids needed to raise their level and be the ones who carried this team because they're the older kids. We saw inconsistent play from them all season long, and we saw it here even in Atlantic City. So it's been quite a few hours since that game ended last night. Had some super hot takes from the entire teams going into the portal to Tobin should be fired, to some other real pearls. Can you all take a chill pill? People, it's college basketball. The sun actually came up this morning. I looked outside; it was there. There's proof. Go look out your window. So it's all good. It's portal season. We'll take a little breather on this podcast for a couple weeks after this episode, but we'll come back and we'll probably do a little deeper dive into recapping. But more importantly, we're going to start looking ahead, and because that's what I always do in this podcast is look ahead, and we'll dig into the recruiting because Iona's been associated with quite a few people per Twitter. In terms of portal guys already. And of course, we already have 3 freshmen coming in for next year. So we'll talk all about that. And probably within the next month or so, for sure, we will have an exclusive episode with the one and only Tobin Anderson. So anyway, we have lots to share. I also want to share, I'm going to share the full recording from last night's press conference. Really, I mean, it was more of a press conference just looking over the state of the program as opposed to nitpicking the game itself. I mean, we can talk about the game itself for sure. We'll get to that too. So I want to share that press conference because there was some great stuff from Joel Brown in there. JQ shared some nice thoughts as well, and of course Tobin. So we'll get to that, but before we dive into that, I also want to acknowledge the Iona women. Again, they had an interesting scenario this year. I mean, they're a little younger. Only 2 players will be gone from this year's team. Of course, one of them is the star, Sierra D'Angelo. She finished her Iona career, or brief Iona career, I should say, quite strong. She did everything she could. I'm trying to find my sheet right here. 23.7 rebounds. So she finished very strong in her final game. Tried to will the Gales to a victory over Ryder in the 8-9 game. Didn't happen. Very teary-eyed in the presser. The torch being passed to Ella Fajardo, who had 13 in the game. But most of the team is back. I think, again, they only lose a couple players. And we'll see what they do in recruiting-wise. Again, we'll have to see who might transfer out and all that. Even the women that are affected by those things these days. So we'll dive into all that. And also, as we get into the offseason, we'll return to our normal format with IOTAs and everything else. We've kind of bypassed them a bit here with the focus toward the end of the season and the drama that came with it. Anyway, before we leave the women, I have a brief clip from Coach Ann Zamillo talking about how this year wrapped up and the future of of the program.
Coach, how would you categorize your first year here at Iona?
I love the place. I love the people. Matt is a great boss, and everybody is just so welcoming. And, I'm not used to losing. I've been very, very fortunate and very blessed as a player, as a coach, and, the places that I've been at. We've had our, tough years, but we've won a lot. So this is a new territory for me. But I know, and I've said that to the locker room, this year is about growth, and it's not just about the growth of players. It's about all of us including myself. I have to get better as a coach, on and off the court in a lot of areas. So, we're all in this together. MAAC is a great league. It's a lot of great coaches, a lot of, seasoned coaches, a lot of really, really good players, and it's very competitive. And, if you want to be at the top, you got to bring in your best every single day, not just game-wise, in practice. And that includes myself, that includes our staff, that includes players. Like I said, it's not just the players, it's all of us included.
All right, let's get back to the men. Opening up against the Jaspers Tuesday night. It was a grinded out kind of game, very physical game. That's what the Jaspers do. They actually have a pretty darn bright future too. It's hard for me to say how good a coach Gallagher is, but he certainly can recruit. They've got a really good young core, lots of talent. They're only going to get better. I imagine that they'll be making some pretty good strides in the following year. I'm curious to see where they get picked next year as we look way ahead. But again, who comes back, all that stuff matters, and it's making predictions on the MAAC for the following season in March of this year isn't going to work because we know lots of changes are coming. But anyway, the Gales really had to grind it out. It wasn't the greatest game by any stretch, but able to ride a couple of hot hands, most notably Adon. He did finish with 24. He made 5 of 10 from 3. Wish he had saved some of that for last night. JQ, really super again. He had 17 points, 6 boards, 4 assists last night. So a really tough gut out kind of win against an up and coming Manhattan team that just throttled us a few days ago. So I have to share a quick clip from the presser that night as Tobin thanked a rather interesting source for his wisdom against the Jaspers.
Tobin, after Thursday night, it may have been one of the lower points in the season. You said it would need to be fixed. Resilient one Saturday, another one here tonight. What's changed with this group in the last 5 days, and how impressed were you with the response tonight at a pace and a tempo that wasn't ideally your own?
Yeah, you can tell we have good high-character guys, and so, sometimes they don't do the things you want them to do. We don't play as well as we can, but they're high-character guys. They were embarrassed by what happened last Thursday. Last Thursday. Seems like yesterday. But they were embarrassed. We were all embarrassed by what happened. And but with that being said, you have to give credit to Manhattan. John's doing a really good job with that team. They're very well coached. They play well together. And so even tonight was a dogfight. So, I think we have guys who are high character that bother them. And this time of year, we got a bunch of seniors out there that don't want to have their college careers end. So I thought they showed a little bit of guts in that second half. I didn't think we started very well, but I thought in the second half we really played well and really dug in. And our defense has not been a strong point. If I listen to Guy's podcast on the Iona podcast with Guy, I hear about our defense all the time. So I've been listening to him and working on our defense. And I think tonight I would give all the credit to Guy for his pointers. I was on the Stairmaster this morning in the fitness room, listening to Guy's podcast about our defense, and I think that really inspired us to play better defense tonight.
Well, along those same lines, what did you tweak from the episode at Dratty in the last couple games?
We didn't do one thing different. That's the thing. Sometimes they think adjustments or whatever. We didn't do. We pressed them. We had to press these guys. We didn't press at their place. We tried to play some zone, which on your podcast you actually like the zone too. Which I sometimes the zone can be good. The zone has not been good for us. So we had to press them the whole time, trying to speed the game up. But they handled our pressure pretty well for the most part. But I thought we got in their legs a little bit. And Winston had 7 turnovers. I'm not sure how many he had last Thursday, but he didn't have 7 turnovers. So I think we really bothered them. And then Joel Brown, his defense in the second half was terrific on Winston. And then they didn't hurt us inside. Credit to Oz. We started Oz. Oz played great on. I think Oz wants to stay here. I mean, Oz must like Atlantic City. It's like a home away from home, because I could tell in his eyes he was really ready for tonight. And I wish he'd make a jumper here once in a while. That'd be great too. But his defense was terrific. He really did a good job. Rozan didn't score, I don't think. Rozan had 1 point. I mean, he killed us at their place. So credit to Oz, credit to Sully. Our big guys did a nice job in the post, being physical and rebounding.
All right, we're back, and let's talk now about the Fairfield game. I mean, that game, again, it kind of went as I thought. We really needed the defense to be exceptional, because Fairfield's got a really solid offensive group. And so we really needed to play well on the defensive end, and we really did. I mean, just looking at some numbers real quick, Fairfield for the game shot 43%. Overall, they're 18% from 2, but they did get to the line 17 times, made 14. They did shoot better in the second half from the floor overall from the floor against Iona. They went up from 39% in the first half to 48% in the second. I think guys got a little tired. They also the threes were not going for Fairfield, so they were much more aggressive in going inside at us. And well, really, that's where you should be attacking us. We didn't really have much resistance inside all season long on the defensive end. So, Jalen Leach is a star. He's got 22 points, 8 rebounds. And Caleb Fields also kind of put the team on his back down the stretch. He ended up with 20. Fairfield's really good. I think they're a really good team. They're not the same team that we certainly not the same team we ran out of their own building in very, very early December, and even when we saw them later on, we weren't the same team then without Mr. Gordon. But again, last night, Iona's offense actually played a decent game, shot 44% overall, 32% from 3, 5 of 8 from the free throw line, but the last 2 misses, which are the last 2 attempts. One was from Don shooting an and one, missing the free throw that would have tied it, coming out of a timeout very late. And then later on, just not long after that, Joel Brown got fouled, went to the line for a 1-on-1, missed the first. So, hey, free throws kind of hurt us all year long. You would figure it would hurt us in a game like this against a team that makes free throws. And here we are, going home. So, anyway, last night, Don had a game to forget. 4 of 14 from the field. A couple of them were late. 1 of 6 from 3, finished with 11 points. He also finished with the highest, with the weakest plus minus rating of the game for Iona, at -9. He just struggled on all ends. He struggled on defense as well last night. Had a couple turnovers that were key down the stretch as well. So Joel Brown had a really solid game. He had overall, despite the missed free throw late, he finished with 13 points. He had 4 boards, 3 steals. He was great on defense. He really was, and he was also really great driving to the basket. So just a really solid game to wrap up his time here as well. Wait to hear that presser. He was tremendous and a little emotional as well. And JQ is our star again. He had 14 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He's really just matured. He's no longer a freshman, obviously, but he wasn't even going into last night. So he's the future right now. Iona's going to need to secure him, probably with some NIL money. Hopefully he doesn't think of transferring out. And my own thoughts on all of that is that I hope a lot of these guys stay. Not everybody will. We know that. But I certainly hope that a lot of them stay. I don't want to see another situation where we've got to go out and get 8, 9 guys again out of the portal or out of JUCOs or bringing in additional freshmen. We're young enough as it is. And we've got 3 freshmen coming in. So let's hope that these guys are sticking around. I think there's benefit to having been in the system for a year now, and really, I mean, you guys, I don't think there's an understanding of that from especially the younger fans who I see, complaining about every little thing. It is really hard to to implement your system to an entire roster of nobody who knows it. So now think of the difference next year when the guys come in next summer to do their workouts, the freshmen, and they have JQ there, they have Eringer in there, they have a couple of these guys, Bates, who also was I failed to mention Bates played probably his best game as a Gale last night. He finished with 8 points. Didn't do much else statistically. He had a steal, but he made shots and he's 2 of 3 from three. I mean, so a lot of people thought he should have been out there a bit more, especially in the second half. But he earned his spot on this rotation. There's no doubt about that. So I'm looking forward to his future as well. He also was the only Gale that was in the positive and plus minus rating last night. So interesting. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to derail that thought there. But these guys, when you have freshmen coming in or new players coming in, but then you have a core of guys who know the system now that they've been in it for a year. And if they're still here next year, they're buying in to Tobin and what Iona basketball is going to be. It's a big difference from having that to walking in this year and having only Oz back who knows anything about Iona at all, and then of course 0 players that know anything about the system. And of course you have the coaches that's everything new to them too. So there was some delusion there, but I mean you can't fault the delusion because all we've done is win. And so, we're so, I mean, how many times has Iona not even reached the semis in the last 15 years, right? 2, 3, something like that, maybe. I mean, it's crazy what this program has accomplished in terms of, success in the MAAC tournament. So now, the way this year's gone and then being out in the quarters, I mean, there are people who are ready to off themselves and it's like, calm down, just calm down. This was not going to be easy. I thought it'd be a little better too. Absolutely. I thought we'd be better than we were. Tobin thought we'd be better than we were. Everybody did. But then, again, this is the product of this era in the portal where you have to take all these pieces and mesh them together. And it's just not as easy as just throwing them out there and say, go play. I mean, they have to be on the same page. They have to get along. They have to really, there's a lot of dynamic there. And, we don't know now that Greg is gone, we don't know what kind of negative impact he had on the locker room all year long. I have no idea. I wasn't in the locker room. Neither was anybody listening to this except for the coaching staff and other players, perhaps. But we certainly were weaker without him. Whether that means he was positive in the locker room or just that much of a positive impact on the floor, who knows? But obviously something was missing from the locker room anyway. I know Tomid had lamented about leadership issues early on in the year. I think we still saw that even up until the very end. Some guys aren't meant to lead, even, just because you're a senior or a grad student doesn't mean you automatically know how to lead. So, all you can do is build. And strangely enough, our biggest leader and the guy everybody turned to was a freshman last night in JQ, and the guy who really led us the most and probably was our most consistent player, even though he was a freshman. He's going to get better. He's got to get stronger. He's going to make some better decisions, and but he was a freshman. So, I really think that they're going to do everything they can to keep him for sure. He's who you're going to build around to start next season off with, and again, we have plenty of time to look at next year, and as the roster starts to take shape, we'll dive in more. But I just really, I'm not devastated by the way this season went. If you have an understanding of how hard it was, and I'm not just saying that because Tobin said it was hard. This is objectively speaking a very difficult task. How can anybody think otherwise? If you think you can just throw guys out there and win 20 games every year, you don't understand what you're watching. So, it's what it was. Now, we'll see what next year brings. Do we win only 13, 14 games next year? Will Tobin be questioned a lot more if that happens? Absolutely. Will it be warranted? Yeah, probably. I mean, I think so, and I think he would even question it himself. I mean, they're not happy. The staff's not happy with the way this year went. I'm not saying anybody should be happy. I'm just saying it's not the end of the world. It's not devastating, and starting from scratch, you have to build. I mean, look what happened with Manhattan. I mean, Manhattan just had a terrible offseason and had a terrible season. Look what happened at Siena. They had no business being that bad. With the talent that they have. But, they have some really strange situations going on over there, too. MAAC's in a really strange state where, everybody is still figuring out NIL. Everybody's still figuring out the portal, how to use it, how to find the best pieces for you. It doesn't need to be the guy with the most glowing stats. Again, we've been banging around quite a few guys in the portal already. We got an earlier start than we had last year. Remember, obviously. So I think we'll see some fruits of that labor because it's a focal point. It's how you recruit now. So how many guys do we keep, and then how many guys do we need to get? Certainly we already have a couple of scholarships open at least. So it's just a matter of how many more open up. So it's going to be an exciting offseason. We'll learn more about the schedule. We're going to also be tracking the recruiting pretty aggressively on this podcast. Probably, like I said, returning back to the every 2-week format or so-ish, depending on my availability, I guess. But yeah, obviously recruiting in the schedule, the big things. Again, we'll have Tobin on at some point pretty soon. There'll be another Tobin Time podcast. So really, I'm going to say this again. I know I haven't said it in a bit. NIL is a big deal, people. You want to keep JQ, you need some money. So, you want to, it matters. Now, some people think the other way around. I'm not giving any money to this program. Look at the way they're going downhill. It's completely the wrong approach. It's just, this is the NIL world, people. You have to have something. So I plan on changing my involvement with NIL very soon as well. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. So stick around for that too. But it's important. Get involved with the Gales Nation Collective. And let's start rebuilding, and let's get back to where we are used to being, because we are so spoiled, rotten around here. Anyway, I want to stop now babbling and go into what is, again, a really interesting press conference. Again, it wasn't even, there were a couple of questions about the game itself, but really it was a lot of other stuff. It was a really important press conference, I thought, talking about the future of Iona basketball and where the direction we're heading. Joel Brown, JQ, and Tobin Anderson.
Credit to Fairfield. That was a very, very good game. Very physical game on both ends. I thought we had a chance. I thought we played well at times. Just couldn't put it all together at the right times. But they made big shots. Caleb Fields made big shots. Leach made big shots down the stretch. And we had opportunities. We just didn't have great possessions offensively. Kind of a little choppy offensively. And just couldn't finish them off. So, but credit to them. They've had a hell of a year. Really good team. And, our guys went out fighting. I thought we fought till the end. I thought we definitely fought. There was no, it's been a tough month for us. And I thought our guys last night fought. I thought our guys fought tonight. I thought we had our chances, but obviously disappointed with overall, getting beat in the quarterfinals of the MAAC tournament is not something we envisioned. So we have to go back to work and get better, but credit to Fairfield.
Questions for Joel and Jeremiah?
This is for both of you, actually, coming in different stages of your careers. Joel, what was your experience like at Iona when you chose to come here during the offseason? You went through this whole year. It's been kind of up and down. First MAAC tournament, falling short of the goal. But what are you feeling right now? How was your experience at Iona, and what's next for you?
First off, I just want to say thank you to Coach Anderson and the staff for, bringing me in. And for me, it was a great experience. Like you said, there's, it's ups and downs, but that goes with, any school that you go to. But the one thing that I've learned from coming from Cal was just how to, overcome adversity. And, the one thing about this group of guys, just like Coach said, the last month has been, difficult with a lot of stuff happening, but we were able to, help each other out and try to, will some of these games. And, it's definitely disappointing because, you don't want to lose. But, I'm very grateful just to play with these guys. It's just a great opportunity to just come, just be close to home, just play in a different environment, a coach that believes in you, breathes confidence into you. And yeah, I'm just super grateful. So, I'm super happy for Jeremiah as well, because I really think he's going to have a great career ahead of him. And I'm just glad that I was able to kind of just be around and help groom him a little bit. But, he's one hell of a player. And I know, this definitely does sting, but, going forward, I know Iona's going to make that run again and be at the top. So we just got to learn from this.
JQ, same question. You went through this whole year. You became a leader on this team as a freshman. How do you take this and build onto it moving forward?
I'll just say first off, thank you to Coach Tobin for bringing me in. He believed in me, coming out of high school, recruiting me. I just feel like we just get back in the gym, get better, just fix some mistakes. All we can do is go right back at it and come back next year and do what we can do.
JQ, this freshman class is going to be a huge building block in the future of Iona basketball for you, for Gene, for everyone in the class, Alex, Dylan, Sully. What do you see in the future for you guys as a group and leading Iona basketball going forward?
I see us coming together and getting Iona back on top like it has been in previous years. I see we keep this like a chip on our shoulder every day. We go hard and make sure this doesn't happen again.
Joel, you were getting inside plays, you and Jeremiah both. You had a couple of drives for scores that Jeremiah did, and then Iden had the two back-to-back drives inside. But they said it went cold at 60-59. What changed at that point? Anything?
You just got to credit, Fairfield. They made some tough buckets, both Leach and Fields. And then offensively, we just didn't execute. We had a couple turnovers. I had one. I know you don't have one. And, when it comes down to the end of the game, you got to at least get a shot off and give yourself a chance. And, like I said, you just got to shout out Fairfield. They executed towards the end, and they made some, huge, plays that kind of hurt us. But that's kind of just, what really just happened when it came down to 60-59.
Just to notice the urgency that you played today, the whole team really showed so much urgency in this game, but you're also able to execute make shots. How did that feel?
At this point of the season, it's March, it's win or go home. And so, if you don't, you got to come out with energy. You got to come out with a sense of urgency. This is as a kid growing up, these are the moves you kind of just live for. You see it on TV, you're just growing up and whatnot. So it's just why would you come out and not, give it your all? And so, like I said, credit, to the guys for really just making, playing hard. Shout out to Alex Bates. I think he came in today and did, a wonderful job in the minutes that he got, and gave us, a huge lift when I was in foul trouble and stuff like that. But, it's just more so just holding each other accountable and just making sure if one person was lacking, we said, pick it up and whatnot. And so, like I said, it's just a team effort. And, we all believed in each other. We just, came up short of the goal.
JQ, it may be tough to reflect right now coming out of a loss, but great season for you. Just coming into Iona, did you feel like you were going to have this much success as a freshman and considering the ball handling responsibilities you did have?
Yes, because Coach Tobin always gave me confidence to go be me. And he says, just be you, just be you. So all that confidence just built up. And once the season went along, once I groomed and adapted to college basketball, I felt like I was fine throughout the season.
Anything else? No. Guys, thank you very much. Congrats on a great season, and Joel, a great career.
Thank you. Yeah, love you too, man.
Questions for Coach Anderson?
Coach, just down the stretch, as we said, you were hitting shots, you were making the inside plays, but then it went cold in the last minute. What would you say happened?
Yeah, I thought we it was a hell of a game, right? I thought we had some chances offensively to kind of to widen the gap a little bit. We just didn't execute. We get caught a little bit sometimes standing. There was no flow, there was no motion. We were in motion offense, and we kind of didn't move like we needed to move offensively. We kind of got caught playing a little bit of one-on-one, which is not our strength. That's not something we do well. So, we got a little bit stagnant. But they, I thought we showed a lot of guts, a lot of toughness. Joel Brown, you can't find a better kid as far as he played his tail off both nights. He just played his heart out. And Joel's got things he's not great at, but he knows he knows who he is. He knows how to play. He knows how to play the highest of character. That's one thing I'll say. Disappointing year, but these guys are typical Iona guys, right? High character, great kids. They fought. Did we get to where we wanted to get to? No, but we did a lot of good things, and it was fun to be around this group. And I thought we gave ourselves a chance to win. That's all you want in a game like this. Give yourself a chance to win. We had a chance to win. I think we were shooting a free throw with 2:30 to go. We could have tied it up. We're up down by 1. It's like we're right there. So we had a chance. We just didn't execute. We've had trouble with that all year long. Offensively executing. So, yeah.
Coach, going all the way back to even November or December, you were talking about that you were only going to go as far as these grad kids would take you, the older kids would take you, and they've been kind of uneven. The results have been kind of uneven, and even in today's game, they were kind of uneven. Would you say that you were spot on even back then?
You got a great way with words, guy. I would say uneven would definitely be. It's been the whole way through. It's like people go say, "Well, hey, we lost Greg. It got," but I was kind of that way the whole way through, right? It was that we never were consistent with how we played, how we did things, how we executed at both ends. So I would say uneven is a very good word to describe this season, and I think it was pretty consistent the whole way through. We never, and that's what Listen, my dad was a coach. I've been around basketball my whole life. When the season, it's awful. I hate this. It's the worst feeling because you feel like there was something else we could have done. I haven't had that feeling in a long time, which is a good thing, But I feel like there was more we could have done. I feel like we, I don't want to say underachieved, but I feel like we didn't get to where we wanted to get to. And at the end of the day, I hold myself accountable. I think I didn't do a good enough job coaching this team because I think we could have been better than we were. Now we had some things that came up along the way, but we never got to where I thought we could get to. And you visualize where this team could have been. It just never materialized. It did at times. We had some games, but not consistently, and that's why we're sitting here now.
And with those guys struggling with inconsistency, meanwhile the freshmen just got a little better. And then tonight there was a stretch where you guys were playing your best ball. There were 4 freshmen on the floor.
Yeah.
Bates talk about their development.
Great. Bates is a great kid too. Bates played great. He hung in there. Bates comes to work every day and does what he's supposed to do. So I thought he played great. I thought Sully had a good game too. Gene kind of hit a wall. And because Gene's a really good player. I think we all know that. I think Gene might be I think Gene's just as talented as JQ, and could have had the same kind of year as JQ. I think he kind of hit a wall. But that's what it's a typical freshman, right? Freshman hit a wall at some point, and it's a grind. So I think we'll see a big jump from him as we go into next year. I really believe that. So but we need a big jump out of a lot of guys, and that includes myself.
Coach, I was going to ask you, there was a huddle a couple of minutes left in the game. Oz Shuma was talking to players on the court, and then all the players were listening to Jeremiah. It was quite evident. The leadership that he's developed this year. Maybe you could just speak about the leadership of those 2 players.
Yeah, first of all, Oz, you can't ask for a better person, a better guy, a better person to coach. I apologized to Oz because the goal when he came back was to take this thing to the same level, if not higher, for him to have an all-conference year to go. Go do special things, and that was absolutely part of the plan. It didn't happen for a lot of reasons. He got hurt. We didn't play as well. We didn't all that kind of stuff. So, Oz is a wonderful kid, locked in. I think he played pretty well tonight too. He's playing on one leg, so his leadership, his character is off the charts. And then Jeremiah I kind of thought Jeremiah would be like that. That's why I recruited him. I've had good point guards for a long time, and guys from the DMV who are used to competition and toughness and playing hard all the time and playing against great players on a day-to-day basis. They're not bothered by anything at all. So he went up against Caleb Fields, and those guys are 5th-year seniors, I think, right? They're older guys. He was right there with them. He'll get better and better and better as he gets stronger, more mature, and continues to develop. I'm happy for him. I thought he played well and had a great year.
2 more.
Coach, you mentioned in your open that this year was not what you'd envisioned. How do you get this program to where you envisioned you could get it when you took the job?
It's a loaded question, right, Sam? That's there's a lot of things we have to do better, right? So listen, I think the situation was interesting. It's like a science experiment a little bit. When you come in, you have one guy stay, and you have to go get 12 new guys, and you're bringing guys from all over the place. And like the three freshmen we brought in were coming to FTU. You know, Gene, JQ, and Saunders were going to FTU, so we kind of stole them from my buddy Jack over there. Right? I got Jack the FTU job, so he shouldn't be too mad at me. But I stole his backcourt. His backcourt was not great this year, so he could blame me right for that. So we stole his backcourt, and we had to put together a team from pulling guys from all over the place, and different schools, different backgrounds. And I think, to be honest with you, it was probably this is this is gonna be hard. I mean, the expectations are I don't know. It was gonna be hard. I was hoping as time went on, it would materialize into something really special. We just didn't get to that point. We didn't quit. We didn't stop. We kept on working, kept on getting better. And obviously, listen, let's be honest. Like Greg leaving was a major. We're a different team with him out there. So that him leaving, for whatever circumstances that was, that hurt us. So, yeah, we're gonna get there. I have no doubt about that at all. I'm not. There's a bar that's set, but there's also a bar that I set, that the staff sets. It's a pretty damn high level, and we are gonna get there. I have no doubt about that at all. But I'm not. My dad always said, let's not talk about it, and then let's not talk about it before you do it. Let's just go do it. We'll talk about it later on. So I'm not going to sit here and make any kind of proclamation. We got to go do it. We got to go do it. I'm going to sit here in a different situation next year, but I'm not going to sit here and pound my chest and tell you all this crap we're going to do. Let's go do it first. We'll talk about it after we're done.
Similar to Sam's question, what have you learned over the last year at Iona to prepare you for this now off season, now that you have a year established?
Well, first of all, Iona's a wonderful place. I couldn't be more happy and proud to represent the university and be at a place with such unbelievable people. Like Matt's a great guy, Brian's a great guy, Seamus a great guy, great people around me. Jamie's back there. She makes unbelievable fudge. She makes this fudge. I gained 5 pounds in the last month by eating her fudge. She's wonderful. So I'm surrounded by great people. And it's a dream job for me. And people say, oh, whatever. I love being here, and we're going to win here. We're going to win big. That's why I'm not going to talk about it. We're going to go do it, right? But I'm just happy to be in a great place that has a passion for basketball that I do. And, we got some work to do. We knew we had work to do. Let's go get it done and get better. But I know I've learned a lot. I mean, this whole transfer portal, NIL, all the stuff that's going on, man, it's like every day you learn something new. I mean, recruiting's changed. Building a roster's totally changed, right? It used to be you'd have here's your guys, here's freshmen, sophomores, bring guys in, they get better, older guys get. It's not like that anymore. It's totally different. So, and you have to adjust to it. So I'm learning how to adjust to it, learning how to do things. Our staff talks every day. We meet more now as a staff about in the portal, who's out there and what's going on, who's talking to you, and getting the right guys. That's it's hard. There's more options, more guys available, but you can't go out there and just take guys for no reason. So, I've learned a lot about recruiting and how to build a roster in today's day and age. And so, and we're going to get better at it, for sure. Hey, you guys, I'll stay for a little bit.
Just a quick question following up on that. Do you have a perspective or philosophy of how you're going to balance attracting freshmen versus transfer portal players and then grad students? I mean,
yeah.
Is there a mixture you'd like to have?
Love to have a mixture. We kind of had to bring the fifth-year seniors in because it was late. We need guys who can help us right away, and it worked out well. We found some good guys, obviously. You'd like to still take the JQs, the Jeans, the Sullies, and those guys get better and build around that foundation right there, and then bring some young guys in with it. We signed 3 guys for next year that are very good. We're close on a couple other recruits too. So I think, yeah, I prefer to build it and sprinkle in the transfers, but it's a project. It's what it is. It's 12 new guys. I'm not sure, how many guys have to do it or whatever it is. It's been a lot, especially it was late in the process. But listen, I'm not one to complain. I'm not one to blame anybody. We got to figure it out. We got to get better. That's all we have to do. I'm learning as we go, but we will figure it out.
Appreciate the time, Coach.
Guys, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for all your coverage and all your tap. I appreciate that, fellas.
Well, as we wrap up this Iona basketball season, I want to say thank you to loyal listeners. There are some out there that are not so loyal, I've found, as the numbers went down a little bit this year with the losses. But you know what? I believe in Tobin Anderson. I'm going to say that again. I'm sure that there are people listening to this who do not. you're certainly welcome to your opinion, no matter how uneducated it is. Sorry about that, people, but hey, I can have some snark too. I'm not happy we lost either. Anyway, thank you again for coming along for the ride. We're in for a really interesting off season. Hopefully it'll be an exciting one, and it'll build some real juice for the start of next year. Got a long road to that now, though. It's only March 14th. So by October 14th, who knows where our minds will be. Anyway, again, thanks for listening all season long. We'll be back in a couple of weeks as we begin our off-season programming. Go Gales.
Thank you for listening to this edition of the IonaHoops.com podcast. This podcast is a production of IonaHoops.com with publisher Guy Filatico. The opinions shared during this podcast are those of Guy Filatico, IonaHoops.com, and any featured guests. This podcast is not affiliated with Iona University Athletics or the university itself. Thank you for supporting IonaHoops.com.